What's up, everybody? Jump in here. Hey guys, what's up? What the heck is this? Am I actually playing Mass Effect? I think I am. Okay, well, yeah, I'm actually doing some Mass Effect. I got in the mood to play it the other day, and I decided, well, if I'm gonna play the game, let me record it. And once I recorded it, I was like, alright, let me definitely put this out. Because there was one thing I knew that was going to happen, and I wanted to just bring out Mass Effect for this event, which is, thank you guys so much. I have 15,000 subscribers now. I mean, that's just so mind-blowing to me. When I started YouTube, I never thought that, I was ever going to have any subscribers, more than less 15,000. So to this day, it is still really mind-blowing. So I just want to thank all you guys for subscribing and staying subscribed as well, because along the way a lot of people, they unsub, especially when I wasn't doing Mass Effect. They're like, ooh, you're not doing Mass Effect, fuck you, goodbye. So I mean, thank you for sticking in there and staying with me. And yeah, the thing is this, is that most of my subscribers, I would say anywhere from 80 to 85% of my subscribers came from Mass Effect. So when I'm not doing Mass Effect, like, people just, they don't care. Like, they don't really want to watch either any other content from me, and that's totally understandable. I'm not bashing you if you're one of these people. I get that, because if you subscribe for something, or if you enjoy something from someone and they're not doing it, then what's the point? So I decided that I think I'm gonna start doing a little Mass Effect again, just because it's really unfair for me to not do it for all the people that are subscribed to me, and they remain subscribed for all this time. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I'm not doing it, then really there is no point for you to be subscribed if that's what you want and I'm not delivering it. So I need to hold up to my end of the bargain there. Like, if you agree to subscribe and watch my videos, then I should put out the videos you want to see. So I decided, yes, I will do some Mass Effect. Probably, a little different format here and there. Like, right now, the thing I want to do to start off, because I got to remember with these games, because this is like actually an edit of 3 games that I played with the Batarian Soldier. Probably one of my favorite soldiers. I don't know. He's in the top 2 of, like, just favorite soldiers of mine. But yeah, so I did like 3 games, and I just put them together in different waves. So just kind of mix it up, faction and gun and setup, that kind of stuff. But and don't freak out. More than likely, I'll put the build in the description if you're wondering that, because the build is always changing. I always change my builds around. Just depends on the mood. That's the beautiful part about Mass Effect, is that if you're playing it and you're enjoying it, but then you get a little bored, you can always just mix up your build and go from there, or just change the person that you're playing as altogether and just play with a whole new different kind of style. I think that's what makes people addicted to the game, besides the fact that, well, their unlock system is just so trolly, and once you start to unlock things, you want to unlock everything, and that takes forever. So I mean, that's the 2 things I think that keep people coming back to Mass Effect. They want to unlock everything, and they enjoy playing all these different styles, and that's always fun. So anyway, Batarian Soldier, this was 3 different games, all edited into one. I don't know if I'm going to remain in this format, but I kind of want to do an idea somewhat like this, where you guys tell me, who do you want to see? Because I've done everyone. I mean, if you look up any particular build or gameplay from any character in the game, you will find a video from me. Guarantee you that. So if you want to, like, see someone again, or if you have a person that you really like to play as and you want to see me play as that person or whatever, just leave a comment. Now, I would prefer it if you guys were to thumbs up comments and not necessarily just leave it. Like, for example, if someone was to say, I want you to play as the Quarian Infiltrator female, and you were also feeling like, hey, that's one I would like to see again, and you see someone who already commented that, and it might already have like 5 likes on it, well, give it a thumbs up, because it makes it easier on me. Because then it's like, if everyone was just to leave a comment and not necessarily thumbs up, I'm gonna have to go through every comment and just kind of like count them, and there's so many different characters in the game. It's like, Oh no, this is a nightmare. Ah! So I prefer it if you guys were to just give it a thumbs up and there you go. And then I'll do another gameplay with that person and I don't know, probably talk about different stuff, not necessarily always about Mass Effect, because I've been doing videos like that right now. And I think people, they have been enjoying them for the most part. I know a lot of people have been bitching and telling me that, you know, oh, they're terrible. Oh, you're stupid jumping. And that's fine if you feel that way. I don't really mind, but I mean, just the response that I've gotten from them it's been way more positive than negative. So, I mean, it's really whatever to me. If people enjoy watching them or listening to something, then that's what I want to do. And right now, I want to do some Mass Effect and maybe some of that as well. So that's kind of like the idea here. So I might combine them together, and I'm sure that most of you guys would be pleased with that. But you know, right today, I don't really have anything I really want to talk about. There was one thing that I thought would be interesting to bring up. It's kind of old. I guess it's pretty much old news at this point. But I've never talked about this in a commentary before because I always thought that it was a little edgy, you know, like to actually sit there and give my opinion on this when Mass Effect fans would probably disagree with me to, you know, certain extents. And then what that's about is EA, the publisher. I haven't really brought them up much. You know, most people, when you're talking about publishers, I think most people would agree that EA is like the worst publisher. They're just a terrible company, and they rush games, they do all this kind of stuff. But I would have to disagree with the idea that, you know, oh, EA is the worst company in America, because if you remember, because of the Mass Effect ending, and also because of SimCity, EA was voted the worst company in America 2 years in a row. Now this is online, but still, like, that's pretty bad. I mean, come on, people. EA, worst company in America? We have way worse companies than EA. I mean, just because of a video game and that you didn't like or that they fucked up somehow, they get voted the worst company? Like, that's just ridiculous in my book. And this is like the way I look at it. You can't fully blame EA for the Mass Effect ending, for example, or SimCity, like either one of those two games. But let's talk about Mass Effect ending because, well, that's what I'm playing here. I'm playing Mass Effect. It was primarily BioWare's fault why the ending sucked. It really had nothing to do with EA. I mean, yes, they were rushed, but that was on them as well, just because there was two things that really made it their fault. The first thing is this. EA is a company. And when a game developer makes a game for a publisher, there's a contract. And in the contract, it normally says something like, well, you have this deadline. You need to make this game between this date to this date. That's your timeline. And sometimes, you know, yeah, it might be a little unfair. They need more time, and EA didn't want to give them the time they needed to make the ending just perfect or to make the game perfect. Yes. But see, it's almost like if I was to hire you to do a job, and you signed a contract, and I'm your employer, and in the contract it said that you had 2 weeks to finish the job. And if you don't finish it in that 2 weeks, then I might not have to pay you. You know, things like that. Like, that could have been a part of the contract. So it's really your responsibility. If you can't finish the job in 2 weeks, then it's more on you than it is on me, because that's what we agreed upon. So I think that people don't really look at EA in that light. Like, BioWare was more to blame for the ending to Mass Effect than actually EA itself. I mean, EA is a terrible publisher, no question about that. But no, they're not the worst company in America. That's just so ludicrous. You know, going with that, though, the other thing that really messed up the ending was, well, the fact that it was leaked. Like, whatever the original ending was going to be, it was leaked, and that always bugged me. It always bugged me that BioWare decided to switch the ending, and because I would imagine because they switched it, it caused them problems with actually getting it done, or really coming up with this concept fully in the time that they had to make the game. That's what really screwed them. Like, they probably, if they would have never changed it, and the leaked ending was just leaked, then they probably would have been able to complete that ending, you know, not have so many plot holes, and not have so many problems, and so much backlash, if they just would have done that. Now, see, the problem was this. is that when something is leaked, like over the internet, like the Mass Effect 3 ending, I don't see the point of having to change it for that. Because when you really look at it, you know, how many millions of people played Mass Effect 3 or bought Mass Effect 3, and how many people would have read online the ending? It's like if I was to leak something and I'm like, hey, here's the Mass Effect 3 ending. If you read that, that's on you. Like, you spoiled it yourself. And maybe a couple 100,000 people at the most probably read that. I would imagine, you know, not every Mass Effect fan or every player of Mass Effect would go on the internet and be like, "Oh, I heard they leaked the Mass Effect 3 ending. Let me go spoil it for myself." That's a huge minority there of people who would do something like that. So for them to change the ending because of that, it's just so ridiculous to me. And that's what really screwed them over, I think, in the end, was that they decided to change it last minute and they didn't really have the time to really complete the new ending. And that's what really caused all the problems. So when you look at EA, and I hear this all the time, especially playing Mass Effect, like I do Mass Effect videos, so I tend to play with a lot of Mass Effect players, and you'd be surprised, but you know, a lot of times people will bring up the ending. And one thing I never talked about, which I guess I will talk about right now, was my Let's Play the Mass Effect trilogy, where I kind of did a little bit of a troll. Most people are saying like I trolled them, but that really wasn't what it was. I mean, I guess it was kind of intended to be somewhat of a troll, but the reason why I did what I did, and I didn't want to ever talk about it, but I decided, you know, I got 15,000 subscribers, I owe it to you guys anyway, let's talk about this. Alright, the reason why I did what I did was, I'm so sick of it. I'm just done. Like, I'm done with the Mass Effect 3 ending. So I decided, yo, I'm gonna change it to something totally different. Like, it would that have been a good ending? Oh, of course not. That would have been a terrible ending for what I gave you. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you want a good ending, then go look up, or if you are on PC, go download the Happy Ending mod. You can look it up on YouTube. That's a great ending. Like, that's what the ending should have been, honestly. And I think most people would have been happy. And I wanted to do something like that, but I just really couldn't. But yeah, see, my problem is this. If I was to do the ending for the Let's Play the Mass Effect trilogy, I would be expected to talk about it. I can't just sit there and do the ending and not say anything, you know, just be like, "Oh, I'm gonna be quiet for this entire time. I'm not talking anymore. That's it. Here's the ending that most people hated." I wasn't gonna do that. Because like I said, over the course of time, so many people have said, "Hey, jump and let's talk about the ending." And it's like, oh, okay, sure, let's talk about the ending. Oh, ending this, ending that. And it's just, oh, it's just, you'd be so surprised, guys. It's just a nightmare. It's like, I just don't want to talk about it. And on top of that, I had like 6 other videos, probably, maybe more, of like me talking about the Mass Effect 3 ending. So when it really came down to it, like, I'm like, I don't want to do it. I just don't want to do it. I don't even want to beat the game. Which I didn't even beat the game. That was the funniest part. I never beat the game on that file. I just kind of got to that one point and said, hey, let me put this together and say, hey, it was all fucking dream. The real ending is not yet upon us. Like, that's kind of the message of that. Where it was just like, oh, that was just a really bad nightmare. Like, it's going to be different one day. I don't know. Like, obviously, there is no ending that I can provide, but with my experience with the game, it's just like, that's how I felt. Like, I felt that I wish that, because the extended cut, it just didn't do it for me. Just if they, you know, they add in a little prologue or whatever, it just wasn't worth it still. Like, I don't see it. But anyway, you know, that's besides the point. So there you go. I talked about the ending again, somewhat. But, you know, that's why I did what I did, if you were wondering and you watched the trilogy. I'm sure some people were disappointed. Other people were thrilled. They were like, oh, this ending's great. Oh, God. So that's pretty much it, guys. I don't know. I just feel that we should not blame EA for BioWare's mistake. And I think that that happens too much. People, they hate EA. And yeah, they're a terrible company. True. Terrible publisher. But BioWare really was the one, I think, that really messed up. And people, they tend to forgive game companies, and really companies in general. I mean, you can look at Microsoft right now, and a lot of people are like, well, now that they changed the policies and they said, we're sorry, everything is different. I don't know. I mean, with game companies, like, a lot of times they'll mess up, and they'll mess up bad. It could be a glitch, it could be the entire ending of the game or whatever, and then they'll come out and they'll give us some bullshit, and people believe it. Like, I've seen that a lot, and that's with BioWare too, where, like, there was a glitch or something, and you're like, oh, well, this is a glitch. Okay, they messed up. But then they came out and said, no, it's not a glitch. It was intended to be that way. And you look at it like, wait a minute. It was intended to be shitty? What the hell? And people buy that. They're like, oh, well, alright, that's what it is. It's intended to be garbage, or it's intended to be bad. No, I don't buy that. I think that they messed up, and they just don't want to admit to the fact that they messed up. So that's something I see a lot with games, and I think people are too quick to like just forget about something or to forgive it. Another good example too is that Microsoft, like I brought up earlier, now that they changed the policies, people are just kind of forgetting about what they tried to do, which was royally screw us in the ass. I mean, that's what that was their intention, and now that they changed these policies and pretty much came out and said we're sorry, people are like, Xbox One all day. Which I still don't think you should do. I don't think you should buy an Xbox One, because then you're kind of supporting them when they try to screw us over. I don't know. A good example of that would be kind of like this. Let's say I approached you and I pulled a gun out and I said, give me your money or I'm going to kill you. And like you're scared. Like you're like, oh, all right. And then you reach into your pocket or whatever and you pull out your money. And then at that last second, I'm like, you know what? I'm sorry. It's all good. Like, I don't want your money. I'm sorry I pulled the gun out and I threatened your life. Are you just gonna forgive me so easily and just totally forget about this? And now we're friends? I'm like, we should be friends. We should hang out now. No, you would not want to. You would hate me. Like, you would. You know what I'm saying? Like, so little things like that. Like, I think people, they are just too quick, and I don't think that we should be this way. We should kind of remember this. You can still buy an Xbox One, that's fine, ain't no problem with that, but don't forget that they tried to screw us. And, you try something once, they might try it again, who knows? That's just the thing. One last thing, though, about Microsoft, which I guess I'll talk about a little bit in this video, because I'm not going to make a whole video about this, but I'm actually curious about this. Does the Kinect, does that actually work if you don't speak English? Because I've talked to a couple people and I've been getting mixed messages. One person told me that it doesn't, like you have to speak English, and another person even told me who's from England, and they're British, so they have the British accent, and they were telling me that no, the Kinect does not work for them because it only recognizes American accents, and that's totally ridiculous. But yeah, I want to know that, so please answer that. So anyway, guys, that's pretty much it. I really hope you have enjoyed this. Please like and favorite this video for me, and you guys have a nice day. Peace out.